In today's shoot, I'm going to share 3 of my favorite filters for adding a little bit of creative flair to my fashion photography. Hey everybody, Lindsay Adler here, and I have been having a lot of fun with creative filters recently. And one of the reasons I love them is anytime I photograph something glitzy and sparkly, I can add another dimension of creativity to my shots. Another element of creative filters that I really like is they happen to be on trend. You see it used in music videos and fashion editorials. And so this is something that is highly sought after by many of my clients. And so today I want to share with you 3 of my favorite filters, the ones that I reach for most often when I'm looking to add a little bit of extra creativity to one of my fashion shoots. All right, so those 3 filters are, number 1, the Tiffin OneStop Black Pro Mist filter. Number 2 is the Freewell Center Field Split Diopter. And third is the Tiffin 4-point star filter. So today what I'm going to do is photograph my beautiful subject with each of those filters so you can see the different dash of creativity they add to the scene. Now, one of the most important elements before you get started is, of course, you need something sparkly. So sequins or something with gemstones or something reflective. It really needs to be able to catch light and create point sources of light as reflections. And then of course you need the light, but in particular you need hard light. Of course you can do this in the studio, could be with a bare bulb, it could be with a Westcott optical spot, or if you're on location, you just need the sun. Let's begin with the Tiffin OneStop Black Pro Mist filter. Now, Black Pro Mists are very common in cinematography because what they do is they take highlights or specular light sources or bright highlights on the subject and they make them glow. A very common term you'll hear is bloom. They just suddenly have this beautiful glow to them. Now in cinematography, you'll often see light sources that just have that little haze around them. Well, Black Pro Mist is a go-to filter for cinematographers. Now it comes in a variety of different strengths. A quarter stop, an eighth stop, a half stop, a full stop. A full stop is going to be very strong, not subtle at all, but I'm not going for subtle, so that's what we are going to be using today. Now what you'll notice is if you look at the specular highlights when the sun hits the sequence, you're going to see that they glow in a way that is not as familiar, it's not as common, but it makes the shot even more interesting. So I'm going to begin by taking a shot with no filter at all, and then we'll add that OneStop Black Pro Mist. So this is without a filter. All right, so you can see the key ingredients, the direct sunlight on her, the sparkly outfit, and then to simplify my scene, I've placed the subject in front of a background that is in shadow. So now the background basically disappears and becomes a really clean composition. So now let's add that OneStop Black Pro Mist. Okay. So do you see those little reflections on the jacket and how they have this beautiful glow to it? Well, without the Black Pro Mist, you didn't see those reflections hardly at all. So you can see it makes the shot just a little bit more interesting and it draws attention to those reflections far more than it would without the filter. So with the Black Pro Mist, especially in a situation like this, I would say it's a little bit more of a subtle result. The next filter we're going to use is one that I think many photographers are not familiar with. It is called the Center Field Split Diopter. So let's talk first of all, what is a diopter? Diopter is fundamentally a magnifying glass. Sometimes it's used to allow you to focus more closely on items, and in old Hollywood, it was used to extend the depth of field. So it would take half of one of these split diopters and use it to make the person in the foreground and the background both be in focus for dramatic effect. But today we are going to use it for creativity. So let's take a look at the effect that it gives us. So these results I think are super unexpected and really creative. You get this beautiful reflection and bokeh around the subject, and then you get these little blurs. I love this when there's bright reflections, but it also looks really interesting when there's point light sources in the background behind the subject. So again, this is the Freewell Center Field Split Diopter. And last but not least is a Tiffin 4-point star filter. So star filters are one of my favorite creative filters to use, and they come in many different variations. For example, there's a 4-point star filter and a 6-point and a North Star and a Hollywood. They're all different, and what they do is they take point light sources, or reflections on your subject, specular highlights, and it makes a starburst effect. But all of those different filters make the starburst look slightly different. A 4-point is really exaggerated, whereas the North Star, for example, is a little bit more subtle. I don't want to go for subtle, so today we are going to be using that 4-point star filter, and it is going to make her absolutely shine. So you can see the wide range of different creative effects that were able to be captured with these creative filters. Now you see that we are shooting in direct sunlight, but I use these all the time in the studio. The key, of course, is using hard light. Now, if you go to pick up some of these filters, you're going to want to make sure that you get the correct thread size. So different filters are going to fit on different lenses. So you want to check. For example, today I'm shooting with the Canon EOS R5 as well as the RF24 to 105, and this is a 77mm thread. Other of my lenses are going to be 82. So you want to take a look, figure out the lenses that you use most often, and get the filters to fit those. So I hope that you are inspired, and if you want to pick up any of these filters, be sure to check out the links in the description below, because not only do I have the filters, but I have the gear used to make these images. I hope you've liked some of this creativity and these tips and tricks for your portraiture and fashion photography. So if you want to check out more, be sure to like and subscribe. See you next time, guys.